If you would remain standing, our gospel lesson for today is taken from the Gospel according to Matthew, the 24th chapter, verses 36 through 44. But nobody knows when that day or hour will come, not the heavenly angels and not the Son, only the Father knows. As it was in the time of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the human one. In those days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day Noah entered the ark. They didn't know what was happening until the flood came and swept them all away. The coming of the human one will be like that. At that time there will be two men in the field, one will be taken and the other left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore stay alert, you don't know what day the Lord is coming. But you understand that if the head of the house knew at what time the thief would come, he would keep alert and wouldn't allow the thief to break into his house. Therefore, you also should be prepared, because the human one will come at a time you don't know. This is the word of God for all people.
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated. Let's take a road trip. Which means we have to ask ourselves, how does any good road trip begin? A lot of grumbling, packing suitcases, packing snacks. Inevitably, every road trip begins with somebody saying this: "Can we just get out of the driveway?" We all get in the car, we all think we're ready to go, and then someone says, "Oh wait, I forgot." Now it's really easy when I'm the one that forgot something, because I'm driving, so I just get out of the car and I run back in. Nobody can leave without me. Sometimes we get the car in reverse, and we're ready to leave. We just start to back up, and someone says, "Oh wait, I forgot." Put it back in park. You gotta run in the house, open the garage door back up, right? Run back in. Every road trip begins with us asking, can we just get out of the driveway? Now this Advent, we're going to take a road trip. We're going to go on a journey, and it's going to lead us somewhere, hopefully. We don't want to go on one of those road trips where you set out, and when you get somewhere, you're like, how did we get here? Lindsay and I once took a road trip to Myrtle Beach, and there's this weirdo place in North Carolina called South of the Border. It's this really odd, I don't know, theme park is not the word for it. Roadside junk pavilion might be a better word for it. It is an eclectic place, let us say. And it is not on our route to Myrtle Beach. And yet we ended up there, which prompted me to ask the question, how did we get here? And then we had to do the old pull out the phone, and we said, oh, we didn't have Siri running, we didn't know where we were going. But before we left, before we ever got on the road, I'm pretty sure we asked ourselves, can we just get out of the driveway? Now, our scripture today comes from the end of the Gospel of Matthew, which might seem odd to you because you might be thinking, all right, beginning of Advent? You're like, okay. You might know just enough about the Bible to go, as Gary pointed out, Matthew and Luke are the only two that have infancy narratives of Jesus, and those are in the beginning. And so you might be like, if this is the beginning of the road trip, Pastor, why are we at the end of Matthew's Gospel? Jesus gives a prediction of what the end time will be like when the Son of Man, when the human one comes among us. And it's unexpected because it's something we don't get to know when it happens. I know, it's the worst. My dad's retiring next year. He's got a timer running. How many days, how many hours, how many minutes, how many seconds. And we like that. We like the surety of knowing when. I want to know when. Got all the important dates in our calendar. This person's birthday, this day. Anniversary, this day. I have a reminder set for my anniversary, just in case, right? 2 days ahead of time. Gotta have time, fellas. Right? Don't put that reminder on the day. No. Put it when stores are still open. Be smart. So, we like to have stuff known ahead of time. We like to know when it's going to happen. And Jesus says, you don't get to know when it's going to happen. Just pay attention. Been a while, hasn't it? Been a little bit. Couple thousand years, give or take. And by a couple, I mean, a couple. Yeah, what year is this? I don't even know anymore. 2019. A couple thousand years, give or take. And so, we want to know, and it's been a while, and so it might get hard to wait. And so when it gets hard to wait, it makes it even harder to start a journey, because we get to a point where we just say, forget it. I don't even want to go anymore. We've had to stop 6 times, and we haven't even left the driveway yet. And so we get ready for Advent yet again. We get ready for Christmas yet again. We might find ourselves saying, it all just kind of feels familiar. I might just feel a little over it this year. I'm just not ready. I'm just tired. It's just too much. I'm tired of waiting. And I think that's also part of the problem. He tells us we don't get to know, and we love to know. We got tracking on our packages. We got a notification that it was delivered. We know when it's going to show up at our house. We know when it showed up at our house. And now you can get a picture of them putting it at your house. And so we love to know, and we don't get to know. And so we start Advent, and we know that Christmas is coming. For some of us, we're already in Christmas. And to you, I say, you left the driveway too early. But every year, we start to get in a rut. Because we lose sight of why we're doing what we're doing. And when we lose sight of why we're taking the journey in the first place, it makes it even harder to get out of the driveway. Because even before we can get in the car to leave the driveway, we have to do some stuff. We got to pack our bags. We got to maybe find some lodging for our pets before we go. We don't want to be irresponsible. We've got to clean the house. If you're like me, you got to clean the house. There's so many things to do before we even get in the car, and it just feels overwhelming. And then we ask ourselves, is it all worth it every year yet again? We just want to get to the destination. We don't want to have to go on the trip to get there. And so we are at the end of the gospel today as we prepare ourselves for the beginning. Because this season is about more than getting ready for the tree and the presents and the baby. We're actually getting ready for the end of the world as we know it. During the season of Advent, we prepare ourselves for the coming of the human one, what he tells us is going to happen in the end of Matthew's gospel. And yet, I wonder if we ever ask ourselves, what if this is the year that it happens again? Do we treat Advent and then Christmas as a historical event, a reminiscence? Remember that one time when Jesus came as a baby? Man, that was awesome. Do we ever ask ourselves, what if it really happened? Would I even notice it? What would it mean if it happened? Our church year guides us through a journey, and Advent is a time of preparation for the end as we know it, because the arrival of Christ is upon us. And so we get a season to remind ourselves and to refresh ourselves to get ready. Because as he says, you don't get to know and you got to be waiting for it. And we might think, I've been waiting long enough. I'm sure someone will text me. Right? CNN will cut in breaking news. Son of God returns. And we'll all say, okay, now I'm ready to get ready. The news said he's here. But that's not what he tells us is going to happen. And so we might be asking ourselves, is it worth it this year to just get out of the driveway and start our journey? Because I think sometimes we go to the exact same destination before we ever leave our driveway. Are you ready? Are you ready? If this was the moment, if today was the day, and the light came among us, yet again, are you ready? That's what Advent's all about. That's what we're doing here. We're just trying to bring a spark back into our own lives so that we can get ready for the light to come back into the world. No selfless action goes alone. Every selfless action that we do inspires another. But are we too tired to do something that isn't about us? And so Jesus tells us, and we begin Advent by lighting the candle of hope and hearing the words, you don't get to know, but it will happen. Whenever we do communion and we do the full liturgy, which we didn't do today, because ain't nobody got time for that every Sunday. Am I right? Yeah, it's a lot of words. There's a little part in there we say, which is Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. 3 short statements that are central to our faith, a part of which is waiting for the coming of Christ into our world again. That's like 50% of the point of all of this. We're supposed to be ready and waiting and preparing for him to come again. But I think for a lot of us, we've just gotten to the point where the magic and the mystery and the excitement have worn off. And we just can't even get out of the driveway. So we just wait instead and hope that Christmas will come to us instead of us going to him. So as we prepare ourselves for our road trip, may you have the courage to pack your bag. May you have the faith to get in the car. And may you have the hope that we didn't forget nothing so that we can get out of the driveway and get on the road towards the light. Amen.